أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the greatest man that ever lived. Who was this man? Who is this man? Who is this being that stands tall among all human beings, all God creators? Prophet Muhammad stands as a turning figure in human history, revered not as the final messenger of Islam, but also as a transformative leader, warrior, and statesman who profoundly impacted the trajectory of civilization. His contributions are manifold, spanning across spiritual, intellectual, social, and political domains. Here are the few attributes that encapsulate his role as prophet, leader, and warrior for the sake of Allah. Highlighting how those who follow his path become warasatul anbiya, inheritors of prophets, and the Khalifa, representative of his message. The Prophet Muhammad S.A.W. as spiritual guide. At the call of Prophet Muhammad's mission was the unification of humanity under the worship of one God, Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. At the seal of the Prophet, his message refined, completed the revelation of previous prophets, offering a universal and timeless message for all of humanity. His spiritual role was to guide humanity from ignorant jahiliyyah to enlightenment by providing a comprehensive way of life. He was able to achieve this through the following: Quranic revelation. The Quran referred to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the cornerstone of his spiritual legacy. It serves not only as a book of guidance but also as a profound intellectual work that addresses the ethical, legal, social, and the metaphysical questions, making it relevant across the generations. Secondly, moral rectitude. Prophet Muhammad S.A.W. embodied the highest level of moral and ethical conduct, described in the Quran as being on an exalted standard of character. Innaka lahala khuluqil azim. Surah Al-Qalam, Surah 68, verse 4. His personal example, Sunnah, became a model for Muslims, guiding their conduct in everyday life. Secondly, Prophet Muhammad as the intellectual leader. The Prophet Muhammad's life was deeply rooted in wisdom, pragmatism, and intellectual prowess. It transformed a fragmented and tribal society into a cohesive and a powerful community. Under the banner of monotheism and justice, its intellectual legacy manifests in several ways. One, institution of knowledge. Islam, through Muhammad S.A.W., emphasized the pursuit of knowledge as a religious obligation. It fostered a culture of learning, which eventually led to the Islamic Golden Age, where scholars made significant contributions to fields such as science, medicine, mathematics, and philosophy. Only, legal and ethical framework. Muhammad S.A.W. established a legal and ethical system embodied in Sharia that balances justice with compassion. Its establishment of the Constitution of Medina is often regarded as one of the earliest examples of a pluralistic and a just state where the rights of various religious and ethnic communities were respected. Number 3. Prophet Muhammad as a political and social reformer. As a statesman and a political leader, Prophet Muhammad S.A.W. demonstrated extraordinary wisdom and diplomacy. His leadership unified the Arabian Peninsula under a single political entity, grounded in the principles of justice, fairness, and accountability before Allah. The manifestation of this was seen in unity and brotherhood. Muhammad S.A.W. preached and implemented the ideal of human community, transcending tribal and racial divisions. His leadership fostered a sense of brotherhood, ensuring equality and justice for all, regardless of social or economic status. This was a revolutionary idea at a time when societal hierarchies were rigid. Justice and Right. His farewell sermon outlined a framework for human rights, emphasizing the sanctity of life, the protection of property, and the right of women and minorities. He advocated for a balanced approach to justice, urging mercy in the application of the law, but also demanding accountability. Fourth, Prophet Muhammad S.A.W. as a warrior and defender. Muhammad's role as a warrior was deeply tied to his mission to defend the nascent Muslim community against existential threats, but always within the ethical bounds set by Islam. Defensive jihad. His military campaigns were primarily defensive, aiming to protect the Muslim community from persecution and annihilation. His leadership in battles like Badr, Uhud, and Khandaq demonstrated not only his strategic brilliancy, but also his compassion, as he always sought peaceful resolution when possible. Also, ethical warfare. Even in warfare, the Prophet Muhammad S.A.W. established the rules that were revolutionary for the time, prohibiting the killing of civilians, the destruction of properties, and the mistreatment of prisoners of war. His focus was always on minimizing harm and preserving human dignity. Number 5. The legacy of the Warasatul Anbiya Khalifa. Those who follow in the footsteps of Prophet Muhammad S.A.W. as Warasatul Anbiya Khalifa are tasked with the monumental responsibility of upholding his message. This entails not only spiritual devotion, but also intellectual rigor, social justice, and ethical leadership. The inheritors of his message are expected to 1. Preserve knowledge. Just as Prophet Muhammad S.A.W. encouraged the pursuit of knowledge, his followers are custodians of both religious and secular knowledge, ensuring the continued advancement of science, ethics, and spirituality. Secondly, promote justice. Following his model of leadership, Muslims are called to be advocates for justice, equity, and the protection of human rights. They are to emulate his example in both their personal and public lives, being embodiments of compassion and moral integrity. Third, defend the faith. Like the Prophet Muhammad S.A.W., those who inherit his mission must also stand as defenders of faith, not through aggression, but through peaceful advocacy, intellectual engagement, and when necessary, defense of the community in accordance with the ethical principles. Number 6, his contribution to humanity. Prophet Muhammad S.A.W.'s contribution to humanity extends far beyond his time. His teachings continue to guide over 1 billion people worldwide, offering a blueprint for a harmonious, just, and spiritual fulfilling life. One of those teachings were equality and right. His message brought about profound social change, elevating the status of women, advocating for the poor, and establishing a society based on mutual respect and dignity. This principle laid the groundwork for modern concept of human rights, spiritual liberation. By freeing people from tyranny of idolatry and superstition, Prophet Muhammad S.A.W. offered humanity the chance for spiritual liberation, aligning the purpose with the divine will and promoting the belief in one God, subhanallah wa ta'ala. So, in conclusion, Prophet Muhammad S.A.W. was a multifaceted leader, spiritual guide, intellectual reformer, political strategist, and ethical warrior. His contributions to humanity are not just religious, but also deeply intellectual, social, and political. Those who follow his path and become Warasatul Anbiya carry on a rich legacy that demands both spiritual commitment and worldly responsibility, perpetuating a model of leadership that upholds justice, knowledge, and mercy in the service of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ala sahbihi wa sallim. My name is Nasser Abdul Qadir from NAS TV Africa. This is devoted to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the greatest man that ever lived. Thank you and God bless you.